Today we're going to be talking about 3 destructive ways you might be expressing your anger. Anger is a normal and healthy emotion. Like love, joy, and fear, anger is one of the basic emotions every emotionally healthy person has. The only time that anger really becomes destructive is when we allow our pride to take control of it. Our pride will make us hold on to anger longer than we should, and it will push us to express it in ways that would damage our lives and our relationships. So here are the 3 destructive ways we might be expressing our anger. Number 1, physical rage. This is when you vent out your anger physically by hurting people or damaging things. Number 2, verbal rage. This is the unhealthy expression of anger through degrading and hurtful words. You use cursing, accusations, slander, and other hurtful language to lash out at someone to express your frustration and anger. These first 2 expressions of anger are aggressive expressions. They're very easy to see and identify, and you know right away if you have a problem with it. The third expression of anger that I will show you is a more subtle and passive way of expressing it. And most people who do this are not even aware that they are angry. And this expression is called emotional rage or emotional detachment. When someone cannot express their anger physically or verbally, they do it passively by building an emotional wall between them and the person they are angry at. Because of their internal anger, they choose to become distant to that person and detach themselves emotionally from them. They will withhold their love, their care, their affection, and their respect to that person as a sign of revenge. On the outside, this person might look calm and patient, but don't be deceived. This expression is equally as destructive as the first 2. So here's an example of what these expressions look like in a marriage relationship. Let's say when the husband is angry, he expresses his anger physically or verbally by lashing out at his wife. Now, the wife knows she can't overpower the physical and verbal expression of her husband, so she chooses to remain silent and just takes it all in. Now, the wife, being an emotionally healthy person, will also feel angry, and what she will do is she will start to detach herself from her husband and build an emotional wall between them. Now, both of their expressions are unhealthy, and it will cause more damage and conflict in their relationship. Another good example of this is to look at the anger expressions of 3 siblings who live under a verbally abusive parent. Sibling number 1 expresses her anger physically. Whenever she gets angry, she slams the door, she throws things inside her room, and sometimes she even hurts her brothers and sisters and vents out her anger on them. Sibling number 2 expresses his anger verbally, screaming, shouting, and cursing at his parents whenever he's angry. Now, sibling number 3, on the other hand, just takes it all in and keeps quiet whenever she's angry. If you're not careful, you might be deceived to think that only sibling number 1 and 2 have anger issues because of their aggressive expressions. But as we learned today, sibling number 3 is also dealing with anger issues passively and is probably now building an emotional wall towards her parents. So we have to be careful about all these 3 expressions. Never be deceived that only the aggressive expressions of anger are dangerous and the passive ones are okay. They are all equally destructive to relationships that we have. The Bible teaches us that in your anger, do not sin. Your anger is not a sin, but what you do when you're angry can lead you to sin and very destructive behavior. The Bible also teaches us that we should not let the sun go down while we are still angry. Our anger has an expiration date. It has to expire before the sun goes down. Because if you sleep with anger in your heart, your anger will turn into bitterness the next day. So the next time you're angry, think about these things. Stop expressing your anger in destructive ways. Acknowledge your anger, pray and ask God for strength to control it. Learn to forgive, learn to communicate and get your message across without anger. Don't let your anger stay longer than it should, and learn to manage it. And lastly, if you really want to have a happy life, learn to express your anger with love, just the way Jesus taught us.